This video is a part of a series that helps dinghy sailors onto the path to becoming bareboat charter skippers. The entire series is contained in this playlist here. If you have any comments or feedback for us, please share them and help make the next video that much better. Enjoy! So, you guys asked a lot of questions, so this isn't entirely true, but up to this point, it's mostly been like what the options are, kind of fact-based. This specifically, I've kind of left this section for what I think you should do, and maybe IK agrees with it, maybe not. I wrote the slides, so I wrote it down. Basically what I think you should do, depending on how you like to learn and how you'd like to progress into bareboat skippering, if in fact you're still interested. You're all still here, so I'm figuring you're still interested. All right, so for everybody, I think I already said this, but spend as much time as you can on the sonars here at Community Boating just to get started. Go out when it's windy, spend time on them, get experience sailing with crew that you just pick up off the dock, don't have their solo ratings. It's just great. It's a great experience, and you can't beat the price. You're already all members. You just got to take a few classes and get a few ratings and you're good. If you can spend time on big boats just as an apprentice or just as a crew, again, we'll send around some resources for figuring out how to actually pull that off. But that's definitely something that is a great opportunity, and it's also pretty inexpensive most of the time, especially if you go sailing on race boats. They even buy the beer and the sandwiches. Yeah, I know, it's crazy, right? The downside is that you have to get yelled at a lot. Take a navigation course. Community Boating has a navigation course. I don't know the details of it yet. I don't know if they've worked out the details yet. It usually happens later in the season. But if you have the opportunity to take that, take a classroom navigation course. I think IK said it, do the homework. Navigation is something you really just don't want to mess up. It's just so embarrassing to be sitting there on the rocks and calling Cito. Again, I like to say, read the books. Or find some books that you're interested in. Read some of the stories of people who've sailed around the world. That stuff is a great resource. Okay, so now it's a little bit of a choose your own adventure. If you are a self-starter, I recommend that you find a bareboat liveaboard course, take the course, and then go buy a membership on the harbor and sail as a skipper as often as you can. That's, do the course, get the rating, and then start sailing on your own and figure it out. That's kind of the CBI model. They're like, hey, you know what a sail is, why don't you go sailing? It's a little bit riskier, but you'll have had that entire bareboat course, and take some people with you, maybe who actually know what they're doing. If you actually do this and you send me an email, I'll probably go sailing with you if you want. But yeah, once you're comfortable with the sonar, like I said, jump right in. I recommend the Narragansett Sailing School, and then just get out on the harbor as a skipper as often as you can. Specifically, the J29 membership at BHSC is like a ridiculous deal. It's a very cheap way to be skippering an almost 30-foot boat out on the Boston Harbor with the ability to do trips like overnight trips to Provincetown, spend a long weekend there. It's great. And I think it's like $1,500, but I'm not sure. All right. If you are a structured learner, if you like the courses, I recommend that you find some courses from one of the schools on the harbor and plan to spend a season going through their curriculum. Most of the schools have at least a few courses that you can take. I don't have a strong opinion as to which one's the best and which one's not the best. I didn't take this route. I went and got my bareboat rating, and I got the J29 membership, and I taught myself the rest of the sailing stuff, and learned it from people, just peers that I sailed with. Pick one with the progression that allows you that when you're done with the courses, that they let you skipper one of their boats. If you take a bunch of courses to become a skipper, and at the end of that they won't let you skipper one of the boats, you should ask for your money back. So build kind of a membership for at least a little while into your cost estimates for what for comparing the courses. IK, do you have any specific recommendations for which courses are better than others?
No, I took the course at Boston Harbor Sailing Club, and as I said before, I was glad I already knew how to sail, but the introduction and the experience were totally worth it.
and you have to drive. I mean, that's an hour and a half drive. So that's kind of the barrier. If you're going to take the classes on weeknights, it's going to be really hard to get down there in time. So.
As my own reviews, 5 months a week, taking classes there before.
If you have specific questions, you can feel free to email us and we'll try and answer them. So yeah, and then, you know, still crew on other boats, get time on big boats, you know, learn from people who aren't the instructors. Really, you know, one of the things that you can do to evaluate a school is just kind of show up there and meet the instructor and see, you know, see if you like them, see if you get along, ask them some stuff about like what it covers and see if you like the way they explain things to you, because that's going to be their job if you pay them. Yeah, and then don't worry too much about the ASA ratings, whether or not they're offered. Like I said, like he was saying or asking about, you don't necessarily need them for every time you charter. And if you do need them, you can challenge them, you can test out of them. And so you can do that at a later date if you need to. So that is it for the formal course, all the stuff that we're going to present. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot that we've covered here and just kind of touched on, you know, to master all of these things or not, you know, become proficient at them all. It takes a lot. There's a lot of time. You know, choose your own adventure, pick how you want to learn these things. There's a very big difference between the way people who are structured learners are going to want to attack this than the people who are, you know, kind of self-starters. You can always come back to this. I'll send out the slides. It's just basically when, you know, now that you've had the presentation, it's basically just a big checklist of things that you should hope that your courses have covered, that you've learned, skills that you've attained, and knowledge that you've acquired. And pretty much, you know, IK was kind of saying this earlier, you know, if you're worried about the deductible, you might want to take a little bit more time, take another course, sail with some friends. You know, you'll know when you're ready. You know, when you're perfectly comfortable taking out a boat in the Boston Harbor, and you know you're ready, a boat that you know out in the Boston Harbor on kind of a windy day, and you're not worried about coming back in one piece, then you can probably say that you're probably ready to go and take out a boat that you don't know in waters that are unfamiliar, and pull the same thing off. So you'll know when you're ready, and everyone has their own kind of comfort level with the uncertainty as well. And you know, in my opinion, we do these trips once a year at least. They're the best week of the year for me. It's totally worth it. You should definitely, if you're here, you love sailing, it's just an amazing way to experience sailing and share it with your friends. And you can totally do it. You know, it's just a bunch of time, and if you can sail, if you can just, you know, if you can learn the CBI way, if you can get thrown into a boat, sail out on the Charles and get it done, then you're going to be okay with this. Just give it a go, if you're still interested. And that's it. We're all on slides. Hello again. Thank you for watching this video. If you've appreciated this content, please let us know with a thumbs up or down in the comments so that we're encouraged to make our next presentation into a video as well. These take us a little bit of production time. We had to convince some of our friends to help out, borrow some gear and rent some other gear. But if you guys find it useful, we'll take the time and make our next presentation into a video as well. Oh, speaking of, if you're looking for the next video in the series, it's right here. Thank you, Seagull. Click. Click.